Hello, everyone. Anyone. Let's see who's in here today. We're going to be starting the live stream in a few moments. Did not expect my sound to be messed up like that. Everyone. Anyone. Let's see who's in here today. So that was fun. I'm sorry for that little bit of a gap with the audio. There was a little feedback in the audio. I am here. So in any case, the presentation or video that I'm going to basically be showing off is related to the content of Vexstorm Studios, specifically our newest asset, which will be RTS Creator Pro, basically real-time strategy, RTS Creator Pro. It's going to be the newest upgrade, newest iteration of the RTS module. It will be what the RTS module always wanted to be. We'll discuss, our plans with it, what we see to be an upgrade for it, solutions that we presented for customers who already have RTS module, like the upgrade path and things like that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start the stream and speak to it. Gotta love PowerPoint. Unfortunately, didn't get a fancy video put together for you guys, but since we're only not marketing it yet, we're still in the progress of building it, I wanted to speak to it since there's so many questions related. So, like I said already, what is our plan? What features are we going to have? And in order to get into that, I need to explain to you what was the point of RTS module. Why did I even make it in the first place? And really, it speaks to my want to create a game. When I was going through the Unity asset store, you find so many different assets that, do one thing or another thing, but they don't always do everything that you want. There's some kind of limitation, some kind of caveat or gotcha thing where, you have to buy this or you have to buy that. And I own a lot of assets. I mean, I could make anything probably right now at this point. Many of you know how many assets I own. But the end result was when I went to look for an RTS asset when I first started out, I wasn't happy that there was limitations. Like I could only make this kind of real-time strategy game or this kind of RTS strategy game. And that's what really created the want I had for RTS module. I wanted a RTS system that can make tower defense, that could do war-based, that could do economy-based, that I could do literally any aspect of real-time strategy from the same system. And I wanted to include all the normal real-time strategy things without having to pay gimmicky price or pay extra for this or extra for that, just to have the fundamentals to do a real-time strategy game. So that's the premise. So with real-time strategy, it involves a lot. I mean, there's resource gathering, there's units patrolling, you have unit movement, which is primarily by mouse, RTS camera, you have multiplayer in some scenarios, you have game logic that you have to control, UI interfaces that you need. I mean, I understand why some developers will not have everything. Some have a lot of it, but they're always limiting about, if you could do tower defense only, or if you can do, like I said, the war-based or economy-based type real-time strategy solutions. Our solution, our fix for that, was to build a modular real-time strategy system built with the requirement of Game Creator 1 at its original creation to allow for the use of Game Creator 1 partner with real-time strategy to be allow, a whole bunch of formations, hundreds of troops, battling other troops, the ability to develop any kind of resource you wanted, the whole 9 yards. As I continued my development, I wanted to make it so that you could build buildings. I wanted the framework to support AI and pathfinding, and further be able to support the now published Game Creator 2. But as I developed and I got further into it, I realized, the framework I originally started out with was just not strong enough, not versatile enough to support everything I wanted it to do. So I went and rebuilt it from the ground up. And what I mean by that is I rebuilt it from what it used to be to allowing not only Game Creator 1, but also allowing Game Creator 2 logic. I'm also building multiplayer into it. It has building mechanics, tower defense, war-based, economy-based, and there are so many things you can do with the software that you would not imagine it would be usable from a RTS or real-time strategy perspective, but you can. I can give you, for example, our resources system. The resource system allows you the ability to create any resource you want for any game you want. You don't have to use our entire product. You can just use the resource system and it will function. I'll give you, for instance, say you have a race car game. In the race car game, you want to have upgrades to the race car itself. Well, your resources could be those car parts. That as you race along the track, you pick up these spawnable components or resources where you go ahead and pick them up, and as you collect enough of them, you now have a new car. You can now have the ability to make a new car. That's an example of expanding RTS solution that I've presented, that I've created, to go further than what RTS was meant to be. I have an entire game management system built in, so you can dictate how long a game should be, if they have to get enough resources, if a certain number of units need to remain. I have gone as far as I can to extend and expand upon what RTS module was meant to be, and have developed it into what's going to become the Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro. So yes, this will be a brand new complete package featuring everything a true RTS system should have, and will fulfill the promises to the original RTS module promised to be. So what does that mean for all of my current customers? Everyone who has RTS module, it's not going away. I want to let that be clear. Reason I created a new framework and a new Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro software upgrade path, if you will, is if anyone was using my current software, my concern was me changing so much of the fundamental code might actually break someone's project. So to mitigate that, I'm making it so that all current owners of the RTS module will be allowed to upgrade to the newer Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro completely for free. That offer would remain in effect for at least 3 months after the launch of Real-Time Creator Pro. And then after that 3-month period, there'll be a discount, usually like 50% off or something like that. So you can try the module approach, and if you like the module, great, you can just keep that, or you can get the upgraded one. For all those other customers, the ones who've already had it for all this time, the building mechanics, the Game Creator 1, Game Creator 2 aspect, this will all be included in the Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro, and you'll be able to get it for free. I wanted to make sure I was being fair. I also wanted to be sure I follow through on my promises, but also make sure I do not break anyone's project, because that's the biggest concern for me, is making sure I do not impact anyone's current project. All right, so moving forward. Features. Now, on the screen, there is a ton of features. I'm not going to lie. There is an unbelievable amount of effort and time I put into this software, and we're nearing completion. What I have right now is it is compatible completely with Game Creator 1 and 2. I am also going to be including my own custom controller. What that means is the new version of Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro will not require Game Creator. You can use it, it will benefit from it, but it will not require it. Thus, this makes it its own complete, unique system with its own saving and loading, its own multiplayer, the whole 9 yards. Give me just a second. Continuing on, unit creation has been fully upgraded. What I call the unit DNA creation and control system. What that means is we can have fighters, we can have gatherers, you can have vehicles. This is like boats, airplanes, missiles, ships, the whole 9 yards. All of it is going to be available. Especially units, like the back in the day type games where, you had a stealth unit that would go up to an enemy building and take it over, for example. This will include the ability to do so. There will be formations, different types, selectable formations, pathfinding, and AI. AI would include wandering. There is a complete resource creation system, which I have already spoken about a little bit. It includes oil, water, energy, gas, tires, etc. You can make anything a resource. If you were making a horror game, you can make blood a resource. This system is extremely flexible, and it remembers and saves based off of each player. So, for example, if you go back in, it has its own dictionary, its own save system built in to remember how much in resources you've already gathered, so you continue doing so. I have a completely brand new building creation and control system. Obviously, you guys have seen little bits and pieces here and there, but to give you some ideas about it, it includes tower defense, walls, gates, a variety of unit type buildings, research buildings, science buildings, and I'm having a professional modeler, who I'll speak about in a minute, develop and create those as well. So all these buildings are going to be part of the package. You're not going to have to buy an extra package just to have buildings. This software will include it as well. Each building will have multiple stages of construction and damage. So you'll be able to see the construction in real time while you're building it in the middle of a game. Damage, as the damage impacts the building is going to reflect this. You have real-time building placement. It's going to have collision detection where it can see if it impacts an area where it's not allowed. It would also be able to reflect green when it can be placed, when it's allowed to be placed. And it does snap into place much like any RTS game. There is a complete AI creation and control system built in. Oops, let me go back one. Sorry about that, guys. A complete AI creation and control system where you can create what I call varied AI states or behaviors, actions, and decisions. I've already preemptively created several. One I noted a little bit ago was wandering. Another would be patrolling, attacking, seeking, searching, gathering. There's a variety of AI programmable Lego pieces, if you will, that I have created into the system to allow for you the ability to make the game how you want. You want to make the AI smarter? That's pretty easy. You add it in the ability for it to know to look around. If you want to make the AI simpler, you make it so they can't wander around. It's a pretty intuitive system, and it's extremely expandable. You can easily add any kind of logic to it. I'm hoping to upgrade it before deployment to a node-based system, so it's easier to visualize everything onto like a graph or a slate, so that you can visually just see how the behaviors interact with each other. Complete game creation control system. Okay, so what I mean by that, game state creation and control system, is one of the biggest challenges in a game is knowing when to end a game. How do you know who won? And this system that I created actually does that for you using finite state machines. Basically, it's a decision-making system. I created a decision-based system that literally you just hit a couple bools. You say, you know what, I want it to be based off time. Or if I want it to be based off of who collects the most resources in a certain time frame. Or no enemies are left. Or you have so many troops left and that's it. This gives you the ability or flexibility to define either multiple conditions or just one condition and make the game progressively harder as you go along. It's also extremely expandable. You can increase or enhance the game state logic further than what I've already provided in the system. And as I do further updates, I'll be adding additional features to that, as well as the AI. There's a complete custom event system that you can hook into. This is important for anyone who scripts, anyone who wants to implement other assets into my own. This gives you the ability to make an event that is broadcast from my system also broadcast out to your systems. So it's very expandable, extendable. It's an amazing system, actually. I'm very happy with it. Some of the common RTS features will be minimap, fog of war, a beginner and advanced version of RTS camera. I wanted to give everyone both options so you can play around with what feels right, because you want that feeling in the game to be crisp. You want it to be able to zoom in, but sometimes people want a lot more features. Maybe your game is a lot bigger. Maybe some levels are a lot bigger. So having the ability to have, cushions around the map, where if you move the mouse just to the edge, it moves the entire screen to the left. That gives you that flexibility from the advanced camera. But if you're a beginner camera, the basic RTS camera, it wouldn't do that. You wouldn't need that feature. Thus, you would use something a little bit simpler. So I give you guys both versions. Fog of War, I am making that compatible with all render pipelines, HDRP, URP, as well as the standard. My reasoning for that is I don't know what system you're developing on, and I don't want to restrict anyone to a specific render pipeline. It goes right back to, my foundations of what I wanted out of the system. I want a system that has no limitations, no requirements. It gives you everything you need from the start. Continuing on. Getting started RTS bundle. Let me speak a little bit about that. So a lot of different softwares, they'll give you different assets. They'll give you the fundamentals. Like they'll tell you, oh, you can use these demo scenes, but these assets are not included. Everything with the RTS module is included. What that means is there is a complete building system coded by me, but the buildings themselves are actually professionally rendered, modeled, textured, shader created from a friend of mine named James from Candlestick Studios. Candlestick Studio. Sorry, James. He is really good at his art. He's far better than me. And I partnered with him because I wanted to give myself and, the community people who purchase the software the ability to have something ready to go to start off with. This will include about, I believe, 11 different buildings, including tower defense mechanics, coding from me, buildings from him. There's also professional models created by US studios. That would be the characters, the male and the female. These are more soldiers of fortune, nothing gimmicky, but they are very nice. I like them, they work, and they're good for prototyping, in my opinion. Additional professional models included by me. This would include like nodes, mining nodes, things, a variety of things that I feel like that would benefit the RTS module. They'll be added over time, as well as be included from the beginning. I have also included my complete RTS voice and audio pack. And what that means is special effects, sound effects, explosions, voiceovers, character voices, those kind of nuances is what really makes an RTS game. You want to feel like you're there. You want to hear yourself commanding these troops and getting some kind of feedback from these troops, these units. And quite honestly, that's what I did with this. Is I engineered, I played around with the audio, I recorded a lot of different tracks to include with the RTS module initially, but now with the RTS Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro, it will also be a part of that, just much bigger. A lot more sound samples, special effects samples, as well as voiceovers to make your game that much more impressive. Features I'm currently working on. So I am still working on a custom character controller. Again, Game Creator 1, Game Creator 2, I fully support it. It will be, my system will fully function with Game Creator 1 and 2, and possibly other game systems in the future. Possibly in Vector, haven't decided. I have to see how that works. But from the gate, meaning once I launch this software, I intend for it to work with Game Creator 1, Game Creator 2, as well as my own game controller, a character controller of my own making. I am going to have my own custom save and loading system, but again, you don't have to use mine. If you have Game Creator 1 or Game Creator 2, my system is smart enough to know and recognize what you have and utilize it if you end up having it in your project. So it will use your saving and loading versus my own. But I wanted to include something in case you wanted something that worked right out the box. Integrated multiplayer. I want to speak a little bit about that. I am utilizing the power of Fish networking. This is created by First Gear Games. They are a fairly new product, but not super new in terms of new to multiplayer. They have been doing multiplayer for a long time. In fact, they did a lot with Mirror for quite a long time before they decided to go ahead and create their own, which in this case is the Fish networking platform. I find the Fish networking to be a good caveat to Photon Fusion, and it also has a better price point and flexibility than Photon Fusion. That is why I chose that path for multiplayer. I plan on making it so that all you have to do is drag in the free asset for Fish networking into your project. You know, just add it, and then you would add my software, and boom, you have multiplayer right out of the box. Fish networking also offers a premium feature, which includes better syncing and a better response on multiplayer. So if you were interested in that, those upgrades would be applicable to my own system as well. Those features would be unlocked basically if you needed them to be. But honestly, for my initial tests, you may not even need them. The system is extremely performant, very fast. I spent quite a bit of time investigating multiple multiplayer systems, and quite honestly, Fish networking hits all the marks for me. I mean, in the end, I'm going to be making my own game from this as well. So That's why we went that route. Another thing I'm working on is what I call customer character views. Custom character views in RTS space is an oddity. A lot of times people think of RTS, real-time strategy, as a game system where you're from a elevated aerial view with the RTS camera, real-time strategy camera, and you're looking down on the ground as you're commanding troops. I want that kind of integration where you get into the action. So you get like hero mode, and then all of a sudden you're in a first-person perspective. You're one of those soldiers that's running in combat, and you have full control of them for a few moments. I want to implement that kind of system into the Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro system. So that's something else I'm working on. It's still being worked on, still being coded, but I have had some good actual progress with that as well. I know I've pretty much ran through a lot of this. It's a lot of information. I was hoping to have more time to have a lot of people join, ask questions. I might be able to create another stream at a later date to have questions be generated and used so I can answer your questions. But the big takeaways that I really, really need for everyone to take is RTS module is not going anywhere. It's staying, and it will still require Game Creator 1, possibly Game Creator 2. I may still make that work with Game Creator 2 without the need of breaking the framework. RTS Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro, now that will break any kind of current projects that you have implementing my RTS system. But any of my customers who already own RTS module will absolutely get the Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro for free in the first 3 months of launch, just to make sure that everyone gets everything they ever wanted. I'm quite proud of this. I've been working on this new software platform for the last 6 months. In secret, I have been adding everything everything I've ever learned in coding into it to make it performant, effective, easy to use. I've taken a lot of feedback from a lot of people, constructive feedback where, hey, this would have been easier if I could see it from this perspective, and I've implemented it into my code. I hope this stream was really useful for you guys. It helped you understand our plans and what we're doing, what we're working on. As to timeline, when is our Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro coming out? I know that's the big question. I know a lot of people are probably, I've gotten lots of messages asking me, when's this coming out? When am I going to have the building module access? When am I going to have multiplayer? And the truth is, I'm not even 100% sure. And I say that because I'm not going to lie. And I also say that because I have a couple things I want to get done before I submit it out to the world for consumption. Because the worst thing I want to do is make something, publish it even as a beta and then break the framework and mess someone's project up. So I'm only going to publish what I know is actually a fully functioning, really well vetted system that just works out of the box. That is my goal. That is what I'm going to do. And that 3-month timer of you guys getting it for free doesn't start until it's on the Unity Asset Store. I promise you that. So related back to timeline. How long do I think it will take? It should only take a month. I think about 30 days to 2 months at max for me to fully deploy everything on my wish list as well as what's already there. I know 4 weeks, 8 weeks, that's a lot of time. But quite honestly, what I'm promising is a complete real-time strategy system at a really phenomenal price for everything that you get out of it. And it gives you the flexibility to choose from the beginning 3 different systems, so Game Creator 1, Game Creator 2, or my own, the ability to create any kind of unit, vehicle, person, what have you, resources of any kind, buildings of any kind, complete starter assets, AI, game logic, the whole 9 yards, all from the gate, where you can literally start building your own game from scratch, right from my own system by itself. I'm excited to present this to you. More will be coming as time progresses. Just to give you a quick idea of when the next stream might come, and maybe in about a week, we'll say about a week, I may be able to show off some of the buildings that have been already created by my friend James from Candlestick Studio. As always, guys, thank you for everything you do. If you like the content, if you're interested in programming the RTS module, the Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro system, please click that like, subscribe, reach out to me. I'm open to all kinds of feedback, so if the stream was not as informative as you would have liked, please reach out, let me know. I do plan on having more content coming out, specifically as it pertains to when I launch the Real-Time Strategy Creator Pro, because I will be having a tutorial series on how to utilize that effectively, as well as what you can do that's completely opposite of real-time strategy, but utilizes the same software, the same concepts. I thank you again for joining, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay safe.